I never thought revenge would taste like cheap motel coffee and the faint tang of betrayal. But here I was, choking it down in a roach trap room that smelled like regret and someone else's bad decisions. My so-called best friend, the one who'd sworn we'd conquer the world together, had just handed me the keys to this dump, room 107, the one with the lumpy bed and the view of a dumpster, while she and the rest of our old college crew lounged in the penthouse suites of the Grand Mirage Resort. Little did they know, I'd bought the whole damn chain 6 months ago, under a ghost of a name. And this trip was my trap snapping shut. But the real hook? I'd let her frame me for embezzlement 5 years back. Took the fall to keep her out of prison. And now, as I stared at the peeling wallpaper, I realized the sweetest payback wasn't ruining her. It was making her beg for the mercy she never showed me. It started in the sticky heat of a Vegas summer, back when we were 22 and invincible. Or so I thought. My name's Audrey Hayes, and I grew up in the shadow of my family's empire, a string of boutique hotels dotting the Southwest like forgotten jewels. Dad built them from nothing after Vietnam, turning dusty motels into oases for the lost and the loaded. He died when I was 18, leaving me the keys, literally and figuratively, to the kingdom. Mom had already checked out emotionally after the chemo, so it was just me and the ledgers. Me and the ghosts of empty ballrooms. Enter Lena. God, Lena Voss. With her razor-sharp bob and that laugh like shattered glass, beautiful, broken, and brilliant in ways that made you forget she was poison. We met freshman year at UNLV, bonded over late-night shifts at the campus diner, dreaming of flipping tables on the patriarchy by running our own spots. She was the spark to my steady flame. I handled the numbers. She the charm. By junior year, we'd convinced my mom to let Lena intern at the family chain. She's family now, I'd said, and damn if that wasn't the first lie I swallowed. The betrayal hit like a slot machine jackpot you didn't want. Ugly, flashy, and leaving you broke. It was 2020. Pandemic gutting the industry. Hotels shuttering like bad bets. Lena and I were co-managing the flagship in Reno, the Silver Sage, when the books started bleeding red. I trusted her with procurement suppliers, vendors, the works while I chased loans and grants. One night, scrolling through wire transfers at 3 a.m., I spotted it. $250,000 funneled to offshore accounts, disguised as emergency renovations. Signatures? Mine. Forged clean as a whistle. But the kicker? The money trail looped back to Lena's cousin, a sleazy developer she'd vouched for, promising it'd save us all. I confronted her in the executive lounge, rain lashing the windows like accusations. Audrey. Baby. It's not what it looks like, she'd cooed, eyes wide as saucers. But her fingers twisting that silver locket she always wore, her tell. She spun it. The cousin had gone rogue. But if it came out, it'd tank the chain, drag my name through the mud as the incompetent heiress. I could fight it. Sure. But the feds were already sniffing. And Mom's health was tanking again. Take the plea, Lena whispered, her hand on mine, cold as the marble floors. I'll make it right. We'll rebuild together. You're the strong one.
Odds. Carry this for me.
Stupid? Maybe. Loyal to a fault? Hell yes. I pled guilty to misdemeanor fraud, community service, probation, a black mark that scared off investors faster than COVID did guests. Mom died 6 months later, whispering from her hospice bed that she'd always known I was too soft. The banks foreclosed on everything but the Vegas flagship, the Grand Mirage. which I sold to a faceless LLC to pay debts. Lena? She vanished with a tearful text. I'm so sorry. Starting over in LA. Love you forever. I crashed on friends' couches, waitressed at dive bars, drowned in therapy sessions unpacking why I'd let her gut me like that. But here's the controversial part, the one that keeps me up at night. Part of me did it for the thrill. Taking the fall felt like penance for inheriting Dad's legacy without earning the scars. And Lena? She was the sister I never had. The one who saw the empire and didn't flinch. Or so I told myself. Deep down, I knew she was mired in her own mess, abusive ex, gambling debts, that cousin who'd promised her a cut but left her holding the bag. Covering for her wasn't just love, it was me playing God, deciding her sins were worth my crucifixion. Controversial as hell, right? Forgiving the unforgivable. Or just codependent bullshit. Fast forward 3 years of scraping by in Phoenix, slinging lattes and crunching numbers for a startup that folded like origami. I'd clawed my way into real estate flips, small motels off I-10, gutted and reborn as Airbnbs. Each deal was a brick in the wall I was rebuilding. Anonymous LLCs shielding me like Kevlar. By 2024, I'd networked into a syndicate of silent investors, folks who'd lost big in the crash and smelled opportunity in the rebound. One pitch deck later, and boom, I orchestrated a hostile takeover of the old family chain, now rebranded under Voss Holdings. Yeah, Voss. Lena's last name. A ghost I summoned to haunt her. Turns out, she'd risen from her ashes too. While I rotted, she networked her way into VC circles, charming suits with tales of resilience that conveniently omitted the fraud. By 2025, she was CFO of a boutique hospitality firm, married to some tech bro named Kyle, popping out a kid, posting filtered perfection on Insta. But the chain? She'd bought the Grand Mirage cheap, flipped it into a profit machine, and expanded to 5 properties. My revenge wasn't destruction, it was reclamation. I outbid her conglomerate in a blind auction, wired the funds through proxies, and woke up one Tuesday as Audrey Black, owner of it all. The board? Handpicked ghosts from my past. The staff? Loyalists who'd wept when I fell. The trip was her idea. A girls' getaway to celebrate our 10-year reunion. But really, it was Lena's corporate retreat disguised as nostalgia. She'd booked the whole Grand Mirage for her team, 20 execs from Voss Hospitality, plus our old crew as plus ones. I RSVP'd late, anonymously, as Audrey H., letting the algorithm slot me into the dregs. When I rolled up in a rented Civic, dust caked from the drive, the concierge, poor kid named Marco, apologized profusely. Ma'am. System glitch. Best I can do is 107. I nodded, biting back the grin. Revenge started small, a text to Marco later. Upgrade the penthouse to the bridal suite. Comp the bar. But that was just appetizers. Night 1. I slunk into the lobby bar like a shadow, nursing a whiskey neat while Lena held court at the corner booth. She looked good, better than good. All sun-kissed glow and power blazer. Kyle orbiting like a moon. Our old gang was there. Jess the wild one. Now a yoga instructor, Tom the techie, balding but buzzing. And Mia, the quiet artist who'd always crushed on Lena. Laughter boomed as they swapped stories, conveniently skipping the part where I vanished mid-scandal. I waited till last call, then bumped into her at the elevators. Odds. Lena's eyes bugged, then softened into that crocodile tear hug. Oh my God. It's been forever. What are you doing here? I played coy, crashed the reunion on a whim, snagged a last-minute room. Her face flickered. Pity? Guilt? Hard to tell under the Botox. Room 107?
That's
Rustic. Let me fix it. But the system was down, per my instructions, and she waved it off. Tomorrow. Promise. Catch up soon. Lies. All of it. But her voice cracked just enough to remind me she knew what she'd done. That night, in my worst room, I pored over the files I'd buried deep. Emails, forged docs, even a recorded confession she'd left on my voicemail in a weak moment. Drunk and desperate. I had to.
odds.
He would have killed me if I didn't pay up. Her ex. The cousin, it was all tangled in abuse and threats I'd ignored back then. Sympathy curdled in my gut. Was revenge just me dragging her back into the dirt?
Nah.
She deserved the mirror held up, the truth she dodged. Day 2 dawned brutal. 110 degrees. The pool a madhouse of influencers and influencers' wannabes. I upgraded myself quietly, new alias. Corner suite with strip views, but kept the charade. Slipping notes to staff. Spike Lena's mimosa with bitters. Accidentally flood her bathroom.
Petty? Sure.
But each glitch chipped at her facade. By lunch, she cornered me poolside, towel-draped and tense. Audrey. Seriously, what's with this sabotage vibe? Room service botched my order. AC's out in the conference room. I shrugged. All innocence. Karma's a bitch. Ha! Her laugh was forced, but her eyes narrowed, that old cunning sparking. Still bitter? It was 5 years ago. I paid you back. Anonymously. That startup gig you landed? My referral. Bullshit. I'd traced the money. She'd funneled restitution through a shell. But only half. The rest padding her escape. We talked circles, her defending the necessary evil, me poking holes in the sisterhood myth. Jess wandered over. Oblivious. Gushing about Lena's glow-up. Audrey. You look rested. Therapy. The group dynamic shifted then. Subtle alliances forming. Mia side-eyeing Lena. Tom cracking awkward jokes to defuse. Afternoon brought the first flip.
Cal.
The bland husband, pulled me aside during a group hike in Red Rock, dusty trails. Vultures circling like omens. Lena mentions you sometimes. The misunderstanding. His tone dripped condescension. But I saw the fear. He'd dug into her past. Smelled the rot. She's changed.
Audrey.
For the baby. Let it go. I smiled. Sweet as arsenic. Or what? You'll buy me off too? He flushed. Stammered about family unity. Turns out, Lena had flipped on him months back, confided the whole mess during a marriage counseling sesh he'd accidentally attended. Now he was her shield. But cracks showed. Whispers of his own affairs. Her resentment boiling. That evening, the gala, Lena's big pitch to investors. Rebranding the chain as Voss Visions. I sat in the back, incognito, as she dazzled with slides of expansions. My expansions, oblivious to the noose. Midway, the lights flickered, my cue. Projector jammed on a loop. Old news clippings of my plea. Headlines screaming, heiresses fall. Gasps rippled. Lena froze, mic in hand, as I stood, slow clap echoing. Nice touch. Voss. Recycling my tragedy for your triumph. Chaos erupted. Investors bolted. Old friends gawked. Mia muttering, "What the hell?" while Jess filmed for TikTok. Lena stormed off stage, cornering me in the wings, breath hot and ragged. "You bitch. This your idea of payback? I covered for you too, your dad's shady deals. The tax dodges I buried. First flip. She knew about dad's skeletons. The off-books cash from mob-tied contractors I'd whitewashed as a teen. She'd held that over me. Silent leverage. We were even, she hissed. But were we? I'd taken the fraud fall. She'd skated on threats and lies. I laughed, low and ugly. Even? You stole my life. Lena. Built yours on my grave. Her face crumpled, genuine. For a split second, before hardening. Then burn it all. But the kid? She's innocent. The baby.
Shit.
Controversial decision 1. Do I torch the empire? Collateral her family? Or pull punches? Prove I'm the bigger monster? We hashed it in her suite, Kyle pacing, baby monitor crackling with coos. She spilled. The ex had beaten her black and blue. Cousin was muscle for him. The skim was protection money. I'd known fragments. Ignored them for the fairy tale. I chose you to save, she said. Tears real now. Because you were clean. Flip 2. Sympathy surged. But so did rage. Was she victim or viper? I wired a truce, $100K to her accounts. For the kid. But tagged it traceable. A breadcrumb for later. Night 3 twisted darker. A anonymous tip to the feds. My doing. Unearthed Lena's half-restitution as tax evasion. Raids at dawn. Suits swarming the lobby as hungover execs scattered. Mia? Loyal to me now. Slipped me a USB. Lena's diary scans. Confessions of flipping on suppliers. Undercutting competitors with bribes. She's always been this way, Mia whispered. But you. You let her. Accusations stung. Had I enabled the monster? Lena called from hiding. Voice shattered. Audrey. Please. End it. I met her at a dive off-strip. Neon buzzing like nerves. She looked wrecked, mascara rivers. Hands shaking. Take it all back. The chain. The money.
Just.
Don't drag the baby. Her final flip, offering total surrender. But with a bomb. Dad's secrets? I have proof. Mob ties. Murders covered as accidents. You inherit that too. Dad. The hero? Or killer? The twist clawed deep. My revenge unearthed family rot. Making me complicit in worse. Climax hit in the Mirage's underground garage. Rain sheeting like judgment. Investors circled wagons against her. Old crew split. Jess siding with Lena's redemption arc. Tom neutral. Mia all in on my justice. Kyle bolted with the kid. A betrayal flip that left Lena howling. I held the figurative gun. Board vote to oust her. Feds closing in. My thumb on the exposed button for Dad's dirt. Choose, I said. Your empire or your truth. She chose wrong or right, depending on your lens. Lunged for my phone. Smashed it in a frenzy. Screaming. We're the same. Victims playing gods. We grappled. Skirts tearing. Nails raking raw. Ugly. No heroes. Sirens wailed distant. My security detail burst in, restraining her as I panted. Bloodied lip. Controversial peak. I called off the hounds. Not mercy calculation. Let her rot in court, but anonymously fund her defense.
Why?
Because destroying her fully would destroy me. Mirror the abuse cycle. Or was it weakness? Readers, You decide, justice or just another layer of complicity. The twist landed like a gut punch, courtesy of Mia's USB deep dive. Turns out, Lena hadn't just skimmed, she'd planted the forgeries to frame me. But only after I confessed, drunk, one night, to tweaking Dad's books myself. A minor fudge. $10,000 to cover Mom's meds. She'd twisted it into the big lie, testing my loyalty. I needed to know if you'd bleed for me, her diary read. The final flip. I wasn't the patsy. I was the prototype for her trust issues, born from her own scars. We were mirrors, shattered together.
Ending?
Call it Pyrrhic victory. I reclaimed the chain as Audrey Black, rebranded it Hayes Legacy Sustainable, staff-owned. A fuck you to the greed. Lena got 5 years, reduced for cooperation, spilling on her ex's ring. Kyle divorced her from prison, took the kid. Our crew fractured, Jess ghosted. Tom invested in my next flip. Mia became my shadow COO.
Me?
I stare at the strip lights some nights, wondering if the worst room was ever 107 or the one I'd built in my head, furnished with grudges. But here's the debate sparker. Did I win? Or just trade one cage for another? Revenge healed the wound but scarred the soul. If I'd walked away at 22, would we both be free? Or was the fall inevitable? 2 vipers coiled in the desert sun? Chew on that, world. I sure as hell do. Dawn broke over the mirage like a hangover you couldn't shake. Pink skies bleeding into the haze of exhaust from casino shuttles. I'd barely slept, replaying the garage brawl in my head, Lena's wild eyes. The way her fist connected with my jaw, not out of hate, but desperation, like a cornered animal lashing at its own reflection. Security had hauled her off to a holding suite. Not cuffs yet, but close enough to taste the irony. The woman who'd locked me out of my life was now caged in my hotel. I showered off the grit, the faint copper of blood from my split lip, and suited up, tailored black pantsuit, hair pulled into a nobleship bun. Today wasn't about hooks, it was the slow uncoiling of the noose. Marco met me in the service elevator, eyes wide as he handed over the master key fob. MS. Black.
The
situation? Cops are en route. I'd chosen him months back. A UNLV dropout with student loans up to his eyeballs and a grudge against Lena for stiffing his family's catering gig. Loyalty bought cheap in Vegas. Stall them, I said, voice steady as rebar. Tell M it's a civil dispute. And comp the crew's breakfast, make it lavish. He nodded, slipping away like smoke. First move, isolate the players. The conference room was a war zone of half-eaten buffets and abandoned laptops. Voss execs milling like spooked cattle. I strode in as consultant Audrey Hayes, flashing a forged badge, old habits from the flip days. Board emergency, I announced, projecting calm over the murmurs. Slides flicked up, financials doctored to show Lena's innovations as hemorrhages, projections tanking under her ego. Gasps. Then fury, her second-in-command, a weaselly guy named Perry, slamming his fist. That witch. She promised expansions. I nodded sympathetically, sowing seeds. Time for new leadership. Votes now. By noon, I'd flipped the board, proxies I'd seated earlier sealing the deal. Voss Hospitality, now Black Holdings, with me at the helm. Lunch was a minefield. The old crew gathered in the atrium cafe, tension thick as the mister's fog. Jess arrived first, yoga-toned and accusatory, sliding into the booth with a green juice. Audrey, What the actual fuck? Lena's unraveling.
And you're. What?
The puppet master? Her words stung, laced with that millennial moral high ground. Always quick to judge. Slow to remember how she'd ghosted me post-scandal. Too busy with her influencer arc. I sip my iced tea, cool as the condensation beating the glass. Puppet?
Nah.
Just collecting debts. Tom shuffled in next. Ty Askew, nursing a black coffee like it was his lifeline. Saw the headlines trending. Voss down. You planned this. His eyes darted. Calculating. Ever the quant. Weighing risks. I'd looped him in last week. Anonymous email with proof of Lena's cuts to his bonus pool. Invest with me, I'd written. Or watch from the sidelines. He slid a napkin across. Coordinates for a discreet meet later. Allies secured. Flip 3. The bro code bending towards self-interest. Mia was last, slipping in quiet as a shadow. Her sketchpad clutched like armor. She'd been the wild card. The one who'd reached out post-fall with care packages and fuck the system zines. Last night, after the projector stunt, she'd cornered me in the ladies' room. I knew about the forgeries. Hacked her cloud ages ago. For you. Loyalty. Or leverage.
Now.
She leaned in, voice low. Lena's breaking. Talking about your dad.
How he
protected her once. Protected? The word twisted like a knife. Dad had bailed Lena's mom out of a bad loan years back. Pre-me knowing her. Family favors. Or mob grease. Mia's eyes held mine. We're in this together.
Odds.
Or not at all. Afternoon dragged into heatstroke territory. The feds' knock echoing like thunder. I watched from the security feed, 2 agents in rumpled suits. Marco stonewalling with scripted charm. Lena emerged, flanked by her lawyer, a shark-eyed hired under the table. Billing to her expense account. Flip 4. Her defense was my design. Ensuring the police stuck to her ex's syndicate, not the chain. She glanced up at the camera, as if sensing me, lips mouthing why. Answer? Because pure ruin would have made me her mirror. And I wasn't ready to stare that hard. The press swarm hit by 4. Vultures circling the valet with mics and drones. I prepped a statement, terse, telegenic. Black Holdings prioritizes transparency. Past oversights corrected. No names, but the implication hung heavy. Call called then. From some safe house in Henderson. Voice pitching high. Audrey. This is insane. The baby's terrified. Lena's. She's not well. Not well. Understatement of the century. But his panic cracked the facade. He'd known about the skim. Funneled funds to his crypto side hustle. Help us, he begged. Controversial choice, too. I wired him hush money. Enough to vanish. But tagged with a tracker. Let him run. The kid deserved better than our poison. Evening brought the storm, literal and figurative. Monsoon season hit hard. Sheets of rain lashing the domes. Thunder rumbling like unresolved sins. The crew reconvened in the lounge. A forced closure dinner Jess insisted on. Lena wasn't there, interrogated downtown, but her ghost loomed in every toast. Tom raised his glass first. To new beginnings. Subtext, his stake in my empire. Jess countered. Bitter. To not stabbing your friends in the back. Mia sketched furiously. Charcoal flying. Our faces distorted into masks.
Me?
I clinked silently. The weight of the USB burning in my pocket. Post-dinner. The flips accelerated. Perry. the exec, cornered me in the cigar bar, smoke-hazed, Jazz crooning low. "You're the buyer, aren't you? Black. Bingo." He'd sniffed the trail, ambitious enough to defect. Cut me in as CEO, and I bury the rest of Voss's dirt. Dirt like what? Bribes to zoning boards, under-the-table deals with unions. Stuff I'd greenlit unknowingly under Lena. I countered, swear fealty, or join her in cuffs. He swore, sealing with a handshake slick as oil. Ally 5. But tainted was I building on her bones, or just rearranging the skeleton. Midnight found me on the roof deck, rain-slicked and alone. City sprawled below like a glittering lie. Mia joined, umbrella in one hand, flask in the other. Tom's in. Perry too.
But Jess.
She's rallying the old guard against you. Schism widening. We talked Dad then, her sketches flipping to grainy photos from the USB, him with Lena's uncle, arms around a construction site that screamed shady. He killed for the chain.
Odds.
Covered it up. Lena knew. Used it to bind you. The secret I'd borne? Not just her crime, but his. I'd taken the fall for fraud, but really, it was absolution for the family blood on my hands. "We're cursed," I muttered. Mia squeezed my arm. "Or chosen." "Your call." The call came at 2 a.m. Lena, bailed out, voice slurry from pills or booze. "Meet me." The old chapel, off Fremont, the neon-lit wedding trap, where tourists tied knots in Elvis jumpsuits. I went, rain soaking through my coat, heart pounding like bass from a nearby club. She waited in a pew, drenched and defiant, wedding veil tangled in her hair like irony. "You won," she spat. "But at what cost? The baby's with strangers now." Kyle's ghosted. Her eyes, red-rimmed, held no fight left, just the raw girl from the diner. We circled like duelists. Words are weapons. "I did it for us," she said. "The chain was dying. Your dad owed my family blood debt from the 80s. He paid with silence on the hits. Hits, rivals disappeared in desert ditches. I'd suspected whispers, but hearing it, gut-wrench. You framed me to settle scores?" Flip 6, she nodded, unrepentant. "And you'd do the same. For Mom. For the legacy." Truth bombed. Controversial as admitting the devil in the mirror. Thunder cracked as she lunged again, not violence, but a hug, sobbing into my shoulder. "And a clean. Take the dirt. Bury it." I held her, rain mingling with tears, the line blurring. Victim? Villain? Or just survivors clawing the same scar tissue? Back at the Mirage by 4, soaked and shaking, I deleted the mob files. Not erasure, backup elsewhere. For leverage if needed. Dawn 2, new empire. New ghosts. But the tension coiled tighter, the crew's factions hardening. Jess's text burned. Monster. Tom's offers sweetened. Partner? Mia's sketches prophesied. Fractured triptychs of us three. Crowns of thorns. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was this endless loop, each flip a tighter knot. And as the sun clawed up, I wondered, how many more before it choked us all? The third day dawned with a vengeance, the storm's remnants hanging like bad karma, puddles mirroring the strip's garish billboards, air thick with ozone and unspoken indictments. I'd crashed in the master suite after the chapel meltdown. Lena's scent, jasmine and regret, clinging to my clothes like a curse.
Sleep?
A joke. Dreams looped the garage fight, her fist morphing into Dad's gnarled hand, signing ledgers stained with invisible blood. By 7 a.m., I was in the boardroom annex, Sophie Blosk as my muet, dissecting the fallout with Perry. Investors are spooked, he said. Tie straight now. All business. But your buyout pitch? Gold if we spin it as ethical reboot. Ethical. The word tasted like ash. I nodded. Marking notes, staff bonuses, green initiatives to launder the legacy. But my mind snagged on Lena's confession. Dad's protections weren't just loans. They were hits on competitors who'd muscled into his turf. A motel owner vanished in '89, chalked up to desert fever. Lena's uncle pulled the trigger. Dad provided the alibi and the payout. I'd inherited the vault of secrets, the one she'd cracked open to test my spine. Controversial truth. Had I known, subconsciously, and built my revenge on inherited sin? Or was ignorance the ultimate betrayal? To myself? The crew brunch was a powder keg, set in the rooftop garden, umbrella-shaded tables overlooking the chaos below. Jess arrived armored in athleisure, Mia trailing like a reluctant squire. Tom was MIA, on a call, but his absence screamed volumes. I slid into the seat opposite Jess, plating fruit I had no appetite for. Truce, I offered, voice light. She snorted, stabbing a strawberry. Truce? You orchestrated her arrest.
Odds.
For what? A hotel. We're talking lives here.
Lives.
Plural. The baby flickered in my mind, chubby-cheeked from Instapics. Innocent shrapnel in our war. She stole mine first, I countered. Fork clinking glass. Mia interjected soft. Stole.
Or survived.
Her diary, it's all trauma loops. Ex beat her. Family pimped her for favors. You were the one clean thread.
Clean? Ha.
I pushed back, and I cut it for her. Took the rap, so she could play Phoenix. Jess's eyes flashed, that old fire from dorm debates. Always championing the underdog. Enabling abuse isn't love.
Audrey.
It's complicity.
Complicity.
The word echoed Dad's shadow deals. Lena's frames. My silent nods. Flip 7. Halfway through mimosas. Jess cracked, admitting she'd known about the skim peripherally. Through Tom's loose lips. Thought it was creative accounting. Ignored the rest because Lena's magnetic. You know. Magnetic poison. We bonded then. Fragile. Over shared guilt. Her for looking away. Me for diving in. Ally tentative. But real. Help me fix it, I said.
She nodded. Wary.
For the kid.
Not you.
Afternoon was legalese hell. Lena's lawyer, my proxy, faxed the plea outline. She'd cop to accessory fraud. Finger the ex's crew. Get time served plus probation. In exchange, silence on the Hayes skeletons. I greenlit it from the limo en route to a site visit, one of the chain's outliers. A dusty inn in Kingman, Arizona, where Dad's first disappearance went down. The drive blurred freeways and flashbacks, me at 16, forging Mom's signature on a loan app. First taste of the gray. Arriving, the place was a time capsule, faded neon, rooms haunted by echoes. The manager, a grizzled vet named Ray, shook my hand rough. Heard about the shakeup. Your old man be proud.
Proud?
Or ashamed. Ray spilled over bad coffee. Boss covered for me once. Union bust. Rough stuff. said family sticks. Rough stuff, implied beatings, maybe worse. I probed gentle, fishing for the vault's depth. He clammed, but his eyes said enough. The rot ran foundation deep. Back in the car, I called Mia. Dig deeper. All of it. Her reply, already on it. But odds. What if we burn it down? Start clean. Tempting. Controversial fork. Preserve the empire. Sins and all. Or torch it for absolution. My gut twisted. Legacy versus liberation. Evening twisted the knife. Kyle surfaced. Frantic voicemail. She's out. Demanding the kid back. But the feds. They're onto my wires. Onto us all. The web tightening. I met him at a neutral spot, a taqueria off the 15, fluorescent hum and salsa beats masking the tension. He looked haggard, stubble silvering, nursing a Modelo-like confession. Lena flipped on me in the deal, told the lawyer about my crypto skim. You're doing? Paranoia peaked. I leaned in, voice steel. Run with the baby?
Kyle.
Or join her? He blanched, but flipped, offering dirt on Lena's post-fall deals, insider trades, poached clients.
Take it.
Just spare us. Spare? The word mocked. I took the flash drive, left cash for his relocation. Flip 8. Husband turned informant, but his eyes held hate for her, for me, for the mess we'd made of his tidy life. Back at the Mirage, the lobby thrummed with check-ins. Oblivious tourists checking in to my revenge palace. Perry waited with updates. Board's yours. But whispers, staff loyal to Voss. Loyalists to Purge. Or integrate. I chose Purge Light. Reassignments. Not firings. To avoid lawsuits. Mercy. Or machination. Night fell heavy. Monsoon 2 brewing. The crew's intervention hit the piano bar, dim amber. The keys tinkling melancholy. Jess led. Circle of chairs like AA for backstabbers. We all fucked up, she started. Eyes on me. Lena most. But us? Enablers. Tom appeared late. Sheepish. Sliding me a contract, his investment. Formalized. Belated welcome aboard. Mia passed sketches, therapeutic renderings of our fractures. Healing lines tentative. I spoke last. Voice raw. I thought revenge would fix the hole. But it's just digging deeper. Confessions flowed then, Jess on her complicity in ghosting. Tom's on profiting from Lena's cuts. Mia's on hacking without consent. Catharsis? Or just another layer? Thunder rolled as we broke. Hugs awkward. But outside, lightning forked, illuminating Jess's face, hesitation. One thing.
Odds.
Lena called. Wants a sit down. You? Her? The truth. The chapel again? No, the Silver Sage's ruins. Reno bound by Red Eye. I booked it solo, leaving the crew to simmer. Plane touchdown at dawn 4. Dust devils dancing the tarmac. The old property was a husk, foreclosed ghost. Weeds choking the lot. Lena waited on the steps, gaunt in jeans and hoodie. No makeup mask. Come to gloat, she rasped. I shook my head, handing black coffee. Come to end it. We walked the grounds. Ghosts whispering, ballroom where we'd plotted, pool where she'd confessed the skim. She spilled the vault, Dad's ledger, hidden in a safe deposit box, detailing every adjustment. Murders tallied like expenses, 3 confirmed, implications of more. He did it for you, she said. To keep the kingdom. For me, the girl who'd worshipped him blind, rage boiled, but flipped to grief, for the man mythologized. Now monster. Why frame me? I demanded. Her answer. To see if you'd forgive. Like he forgave my blood.
Forgive.
The word hung. Controversial as cyanide. I could have exposed it all, feds on haze too. Chain crumbling. Instead, I offered the out. Please sticks. You walk in 3. With a job waiting.
Under me.
Her laugh bitter. Your pet. Your equal. Lie or lifeline. She took it, signing a NDA thicker than our history. Back in Vegas by dusk, the storm broke full, hail pinging the limo like accusations. Perry's text, leak incoming. Dad's ties surfacing. Damage control mode. I rallied the crew via group chat. War room. Now. They assembled in the penthouse, once Lena's. Now mine, pizza boxes and laptops a makeshift bunker. Jess manned PR spin. Tom crunched countersuit numbers. Mia docks the leaker, a disgruntled Voss holdout.
Me?
I faced the mirror, seeing us all, flawed, flipping, but fighting. Midnight brought the hack, anonymous post dumping ledger scans. Stock dipped. Headlines screamed, Heiress's dark legacy. But we countered fierce, my statement. Family reckoning. Forward focus. By 3 a.m., the tide turned, supporters emerging, scandals diluted in the 24-hour news cycle. Exhausted high fives. But Jess pulled me aside. This isn't over. Lena's out. But the babies. CPS involved. The innocent casualty. Gut punch, too. As rain eased to drizzle, I stared at the city lights. Empire flickering but intact. Revenge's third act, not triumph, but truce in the trenches. How many flips till fracture? The dawn held no answers. Just the grind onward. Day for slunk and sly. The hail's aftermath crunching under tires like brittle bones, Vegas licking wounds. But resilient, always repaving the cracks. I'd pulled an all-nighter in the war room. Caffeine my vein. The crew crashing on sweet sofas amid pizza crusts and empty bottles. Waking to the scent of stale ambition. I slipped out for a run, stripped sidewalks slick. Early gamblers shuffling like zombies. Each step pounded the questions. Was the leak Lena's last gasp? Or a deeper mole? And the baby, CPS pinged my secure line at 6. Temporary custody. Mother's instability cited. Instability. My gift. Wrapped in revenge ribbon. Back at the Mirage. The lobby hummed tentative normalcy. Check-ins up. Staff whispering but efficient. Marco updated. Feds cleared Voss for now. But your name's trending. Audrey rising. Mixed with haze horror. I dressed sharp. Emerald blouse. Power heels and convened breakfast strategy. Perry joined. Laptop glowing. We've got spin control. Ethical audits announced. Donations to abused shelters. Smart. Launder the sins with silver linings. But his eyes gleamed opportunistic. Flip 9. Yesterday's exec was today's climber. Eyeing my throne. The crew filtered in. Bleary but bonded. Jess with green smoothies. Tom nursing espresso. Mia clutching fresh sketches. CPS update, I said. Voice level. Jess winced. We fixed this. Lawyer up for Lena.
We?
The word warmed. But wary, alliances forged in fire. But brittle as ash. Tom Dove numbers. Chain stable. Your buyout holds. Mia slid a drawing. Us as phoenixes. Wings tangled but lifting. Inspiration. Or indictment. Morning blurred into meetings. Investors soothed via Zoom. Promises of transparency laced with NDAs. Lunch was off-site. A power spot at Delmonico's, where steaks sizzled like sealed fates. Kyle appeared uninvited. Corner booth. Face gaunt as a ghost. The leak? Not me. But I know who Lena's cousin. The developer. He's out for blood. Blood. The Skims fallout. Prison time he dodged thanks to her flip. Controversial reveal. Kyle had cut a side deal with him. Trading my dirt for immunity. Help me bury him, he pleaded. For the family. Family? His or ours. I wired the contact, my PI on speed dial, but held the leash. Flip 10. Enemy to informant. Again. Afternoon swerved personal. A courier delivered the vault box, Dad's ledger. Couriered from Reno by Ray. No note. Pages yellowed. Entries meticulous. Dates. Names. Resolutions. 3 murders confirmed, plus a trail to Lena's uncle's retirement. I sat in the suite, rain pattering like fingers on a coffin, tracing Dad's script. For A and M, scrawled margins, me and Mom. Protection. Or prison. The phone buzzed, Lena. From a burner. Saw the leak.
Cousin.
He's coming for us both.
Us.
The word pulled. Magnetic as her old lies. I met her at a neutral nowhere, abandoned lot off Boulder Highway. Tumbleweeds skittering like fleeing rats. She stepped from a rental Civic. Hood up. Looking every inch the fugitive.
Audrey.
No hug. Just space charged as lightning. We paced gravel. Spilling guts. The ledger. Dad's gift, I said. She nodded. Wind whipping. He saved my mom once. Bullet dodged. I owed. So framed me to test the debt? It was survival, she countered. You are the only one who'd carry it without breaking. Carry the fall. The secrets. Now this call. Flip 11. Victim confessing villainy. Seeking absolution. Thunder grumbled distant as she dropped the bomb. The baby's not Kyle's. Mic drop. Mine and... Yours? No, your donor seed from the clinic.
I.
Borrowed. Borrowed? The fertility treatments I'd done post-breakup. Eggs frozen for a future family. She'd hacked access. Inseminated via a surrogate scam. To bind us. A Hayes Voss heir. Horror coiled my DNA. Her desperation. The kid a living chain. Controversial apex. Rage or revelation. You made a monster, I whispered. She shattered. Or a bridge. We grappled words. Not fists, accusations flying like hail. Thief. Enabler. But underneath. The mirror. Both orphans of ambition. Building empires on borrowed bones. Sirens wailed. Cousin's crew? No. Patrol rousting squatters. We bolted separate. But her parting shot. Save her. She's us. Unscarred. Back at the Mirage. Chaos reigned. Cousin's leak escalated. Paparazzi swarming gates. The crew rallied. Jess fielding calls. Tom hacking counters ethically. He swore. Mia diagramming alliances. Perry pushed aggressive. Sue the bastard. Seize assets. But I paused. Ledger heavy in my lap. Controversial decision 3. Expose the cousin. Drag Dad's name deeper. Or broker piece. I chose hybrid, anonymous tip to feds. Pinning the Skims muscle on him. While burying Hayes ties in a foundation donation, legacy fund for victims. Evening peaked tense. A forced team building at the spa, steam rooms and facials masking the strain. Jess cornered me in the sauna. Towels dripping. The kid, Lena told me. Your egg? Grapevine lightning. Her face softened. Creepy as fuck. But. Family? Twisted. We bonded raw. Her own fertility struggles. IVF fails. Don't let it define you, she advised. Flip 12. Accuser to confidant. Tom pulled me aside post-massage. Poolside whispers. Investment doubled down. But the cousin, he's got dirt on me too. Old trades. Everyone's skeletons. Mia sketched the revelation. Baby as chimeric symbol. Two halves warring. Inspiration struck. Reclaim. Not destroy. Night 4. The confrontation brewed. Cousin, Victor Voss, bull-necked and sneering, breached the perimeter, demanding audience in the underground lounge. Security stalled, but I went down alone, mic'd for backup. He loomed. Cigar chomped. You and Lena, bitches think you run the game?
Game, deskim.
Now revenge cycle. He spilled bile. Dad's hits his inspiration. Lena's flip his betrayal. She ratted for a plea. Now you. I flip the script. Join or jail. He laughed. But eyes flickered, greed over grudge. The tussle was brief, his lunge. My knee to groin. Security swarming. Feds waited outside. Tip paying off. As cuffs clicked, he spat. The kid's the key. Voss blood runs deep. Deep as mine. Apparently. Dawn 5 loomed, rain ceasing to a hush. The crew debriefed over dawn mimosas, victories tallied, fractures mended tentative. Lena texted, custody hearing tomorrow. Stand with me.
Stand?
After the egg theft, but the baby our blood. Untainted. Controversial pull. Yes. For redemption's gamble. Revenge's fourth act. Not closure, but convergence. Flips piled like poker chips. Each bet riskier. As the sun cracked the horizon, I felt the weight. Empire solid, but soul adrift. How much more to tip the scales? Final day broke brittle. The desert sun a scalpel slicing through last night's haze, Vegas stirring. Sins aired but not absolved. I'd barely closed my eyes. The cousin's arrest replaying, his curses echoing Dad's old rants. A generational echo chamber of violence. The baby loomed largest now. That chimeric secret a live wire in my veins. Custody hearing at 10. Clark County Courthouse, stark white halls. Justice's cold facade. I dressed neutral, gray suit. Hair down. No armor. The crew split, Jess and Mia tagging as support, Tom handling chain ops remotely. Perry schmoozing salvaged investors. Lena waited in the lobby, pale as plea paper.
No lawyer yet.
You came. Statement. Not question. I nodded. Throat tight. For her. The courtroom was a pressure cooker, Kyle on one side, Slick with a custody shark. Lena opposite. Pro bono public defender fidgeting.
Me?
Character witness. Slotted neutral, but bleeding bias. The judge. A no-nonsense Latina with crow's feet like laugh lines gone grim. Called order. Testimony dragged. Kyle painting Lena unstable, citing the arrest, her PD countering with abuse history. Rehab logs I'd anonymously funded. My turn. Audrey Hayes. Relation? Family friend. Lie 1. I spun measured. Lena's growth. My forgiveness, the chain's resources for stability. Omitted the egg. The Empire, too radioactive. Kyle's cross burned. You profited from her fall. Amos.
Haze.
Motive. The gallery murmured, paps in back. Scribbling frenzy. I held steady. I survived it. Like her. Judge adjourned for recess. Vibes tense as a hung jury. Outside. Lena crumbled against cinderblock. If I lose her, words trailed. But eyes pleaded, the girl from the diner. Stripped bare. Jess squeezed my hand. You're doing right.
Right?
Or rewriting wrongs with more gray. Verdict dropped post-lunch. Supervised custody to Lena. Call weekends. CPS oversight. Relief washed. But tainted, the kid ping-ponging like a pawn. We celebrated muted at a diner off the 95, pancakes and silence. The crew toasting to bridges. But bridges burn easy. Mia's sketch captured it. Baby in arms. Shadows of us looming. Tom slipped investment updates. Chains up 15%. Your call on rebrand. Call, haze black. Merged legacies. Sin sanitized. Afternoon freed for loose ends. Perry cornered me in the hotel gym. Sweat slick on treadmills. Cousin singing, full Voss syndicate. Feds want your statement. Statement, confirm the skim. Bury the hits. I demurred. Plea my way. He pushed. Or I walk. Flip 13. Ally to adversary. I countered with equity stake, 5%. Vested. He took it. Grinning wolfish. Empire secured. But strings attached. Evening wound the crew tight. Farewell dinner at the Mirage Steakhouse. Strip views twinkling like false stars. Jess raised first. To fucked up families. Laughter cracked the ice. Tom followed. To flips that stick. Mia. To seeing the whole picture. Me last. To caring less. Confession circled again, deeper now. Post-reveal. Jess admitted egg-hacking complicity, Lena's drunk dial years back. Tom. Laundering her restitution. Mia. Withholding diary pages that cleared dad partial. We all flipped, I said. For love. Or fear. No answers. Just nods. Post-dinner. The private twist. Lena joined. Baby in tow, social worker approved visit. Supervised by Jess. The tyke. 18 months. Gurgled at my finger. My eyes, curious. Ava, Lena whispered. For audacity. Audacity, theft. Or triumph. I held her awkward. Weight foreign but fierce. She's perfect, I murmured. Lena's smile cracked. Ours.
Ours.
The words sealed something, not forgiveness, but forward. Midnight solstice, rooftop. A crew dispersed. Just me and Mia under stars smog-filtered. She handed the ledger, shredded. Ashes in an urn. Burned it. Clean slate. Slate wiped. But ink ghosts. We talked endgame. Chain expansions ethical. Scholarships for abuse survivors. Me stepping back as silent partner. Revenge over? She asked. I shrugged. Evolved. Dawn 5 crusted. Flight home looming. Last loop. Kyle's text, leaving state. Thanks for nothing. Flip 14. Final abandonment. Lena's goodbye hug lingered. Write the epilogue better. Epilogue. Her probation in Reno. Managing a haze outpost, me in Phoenix. Flipping motels to sanctuaries, the baby bridging. Unscarred if we let her. As the plane lifted, Vegas shrinking to glitter speck, I exhaled. 5,000 words of war. But the story? Open-ended. Readers argue it. Was my revenge justice, chaining us tighter, or catharsis, breaking the cycle? Happy? In the baby's laugh. Maybe. Tragic? In the scars we passed like heirlooms. Either way, the worst room was never 107, it was the one we built together. Keys in hand, doors ajar to whatever hell or heaven next. No winners, just survivors flipping the script. And damn, if it didn't feel like freedom.